Hi, everybody. Welcome back to week 35 of my journey to lose 65 pounds. I'm Cindy Nierenberg. Thank you so much for following along. This week, I'm so glad this week happened. And it's kind of funny because I had a weight gain this week. So I'll just give you my numbers. Last week I weighed in at 218.4. And this morning when I got on the scale said 220.2, which is a 1.8 pound gain. Now, why would anybody be happy about a 1.8 pound gain? That sounds funny. I am happy about it because it taught me something about myself, something very important. I used to define myself as an emotional eater, and I don't want to do that anymore. This week has shown me that I don't want to define myself in any way as a victim, because when you define yourself as an emotional eater, you're kind of saying, I'm at the victim of my emotions, right? I have no control. It's what I do. And it's not what we have to do. I'd like to propose to you that eating when you are experiencing a lot of emotions is a habit. And it's a habit that we can break. So this week, we had a lot of emotions. My daughter got into a car accident, and everybody's fine. She's fine. The cars are not fine. So we had that. And then also this week, we did my mom's funeral, or her memorial service, and we've been putting that off for about over a year and a half now. And because of COVID and some family health issues, we just weren't able to do it the way we wanted to do it. So we put it off and finally came up with a date, which was this past Friday. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful memorial service. But there was a lot of emotion surprising me. It surprised me a lot leading up to the day. And then, of course, the day of the funeral, there was, a tremendous amount of emotion and then some relief when it was over. And then after that, we went from, the lowest of the low at a funeral to, of course, the highest of the high. Our family got together, all of us, the next day and went to the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. So there was more emotion there. And then, of course, Sunday was Father's Day. And Father's Day tends to be a difficult day for me because I miss my dad, who's no longer with us. But my husband is here, and my husband is an exquisite father to our two girls, and I want to be present and able to celebrate the day for him. So many emotions. So what happened this week was we had a lot of restaurant dining, but I did really well at my restaurant dining because I maintained my 3 meal a day rule. So, right, I only have 3 rules, right? 3 meals a day, no sugar and no flour. Well, sometimes it's hard to follow that no sugar, no flour rule when you are kind of, having to eat what other people are serving or what the restaurant is serving. You can make good choices, but sometimes it's just really difficult, especially at an amusement park. But I felt really good because I had maintained those 3 meals. But the no sugar, no flour rule kind of went by the wayside. But here's the deal. I did okay on most of those days, but on Father's Day was kind of a letdown. Father's Day was like, oh, everything's over and done, and I have no more responsibilities. And for whatever reason, I just went off the rails, and I was snacking, right? I have a rule of 3 meals a day, which means no snacking, but I was snacking yesterday. And then I just ate whatever I wanted. So I ate sugar, I had chocolate, I ate popcorn. I had so much snacking that I didn't want to eat the lovely meal that I prepared for my family that night, which was a beautiful salmon dinner with fresh vegetables. And I just kind of pushed that around on my plate. So when I went to bed last night, I didn't feel well. And it was that same old feeling of I've overeaten, I've eaten processed crap, I don't want to eat this way. So this morning when I got up and I got on the scale, it did not surprise me that I had a weight gain, and I swear all that weight came from yesterday's eating. So I expect that that weight will be gone fairly soon, but it taught me something about myself. It taught me that I don't want to be a victim to my emotions, and I don't want to define myself as an emotional eater. If emotional eating is a habit for me, it's a habit that can be broken, and it's one I intend to break. So this morning when I got up, I made my regular breakfast. I had a bowl of oatmeal with a lot of fresh fruit in it, a lot of cinnamon and some milk and coffee, some decaf coffee, and it was delicious. And I feel really good today about getting back onto my 3 meals a day with no snacking and no sugar and no flour. And it's kind of a relief to be able to do that. And that's how I know I'm on the right track. I know what works for me, my 3 rules, and I know what doesn't work for me, which is snacking and overeating when I feel emotional. And guess who's in charge of that? There's a lot of power there. Me. That's so exciting. So anyway, I expect this weight to come off fairly simply, but I'm glad I learned a good lesson about myself. So don't be a victim, right? Be in power. Take power over your life. All right, guys, I'll see you next week with good news. Thanks for following along. Bye-bye.